The believer can be said to be walking in dominion only if these two conditions are in place in his life. It's an uncomfortable message, but open your heart to receive. Dominion is more than a sermon. It's a call in the spirit. You are walking in dominion to the degree to which your life becomes a correction. Who seen that this man was born blind? Jesus said that's not the issue here. There is power available to correct that anomaly. Where the fish got the coin is none of your business. There is the one who can open without surgery. When you see a widespread pattern, it's no longer a medical issue. There are spirits that sustain the continuity. Mention what did not obey Jesus. Mention one thing. Men obeyed him, demons obeyed him, the wind obeyed him, money obeyed him, systems and structures obeyed him, the material world obeyed him, but the altars in your family have refused to obey you. But finances have refused to obey you. I remember many years ago I was preaching for Cannes and I saw a very strange occurrence, Pastor. Like the eagle watching the direction of the wind, and then it spreads its wings. That's what we call soaring. It does not fly. The eagle soars. Psalm 24. There's an army rising up. You're that army. You are rising up. There's an army rising up. They'll break every chain, break every chain. They will break every chain, break every chain, break every. There's an army rising up. There's an army. They are rising. There will be a generation that will have this answer.
There's an army.
There will be a generation that will have this answer.
Oh, to break every chain, break every chain.
Please hear me. For some of you, you have spent time praying and fasting. You have spent time in consecration to say, Lord, even if I'm the first person you will raise from my family, there has to be someone with an answer to this dominion deficiency. There has to be someone who can finally ask this question. 3-4 generations have asked this question. There must be an individual that will come with answers. Answers more than sermons, answers more than conferences, answers more than conventions. The world is crying for answers beyond activities. Psalm 24. Ali Shali Branda Kuskatiba Hashadiata Ragadozegete Balendosh Kalibra Katosiata Fasa Embra Katosh Kaligra Haskiata Halina Hes Habashalakosia Radagata Balako Shata Brendege Balatosia Sabadagata Balatos Teleberekato Shabrakataska Temanda Sabakata Ladekato Shabriga Berekatos Kalika Branda Katariata Shabraka Paradoka Peratusia Tevalenda Goshadash. Hallelujah. Now write this down, please. Write this down. Then we'll do Psalm 24. Please write this down, everybody. There are two major aspects of dominion that we need to understand. Dominion has jurisdictions. There is what dominion is concerned with. You need to understand this. Number one, the first aspect of dominion is creation and manifestation of divine possibilities. Please write it down. The first jurisdiction of dominion, the power of dominion, is for creation and the manifestation of divine possibilities. You are walking in dominion to the degree to which you can create and manifest divine possibilities. If divine possibilities cannot be created and manifested in and through your life, ladies and gentlemen, please hear me, you are not walking in dominion. The indices for dominion are very clear. Number one, the capacity capacity to create and manifest divine possibilities. So when you tell me, Apostle, I'm walking in dominion, we don't need to talk a lot of church grammar. Show me the supernatural possibilities and the intelligence you have sustained to import from a realm that is foreign to earth. Creation. Jesus, the epitome of dominion, was never concerned about what was not there because he could make it happen. Are we together? Yes. Fear is proof that you are aware of insufficiency. Listen carefully. If I need 1 million naira right now and I do not have it in my pocket or at hand, but I have it in my account, will I be afraid? Because I am aware of the limitless supply. It is only that it is not within my reach, and because I have the intelligence and the wherewithal to make withdrawal. Are you seeing that fear has an explanation? Fear is a sign that your understanding of dominion is not intact. You are aware that you are, all that you have is all that you can see, and you do not have the intelligence to transport resources to make it happen in your life. If, say, a landlord is shouting and saying you have to pay your rent now or I'm going to throw you out of the house, and you're holding, say, 100,000 as against, say, 1 million, the moment you receive an alert of 5 million, what happens? The begging stops. You don't have to tell him I received an alert. All of a sudden, confidence comes. Now, the money is not with you, but it's in a place that is accessible. Please understand this. I'm trying to be as simple, forgive me, I'm trying to be as simple as possible so that you will get it. That the first aspect of dominion has to do with sustaining the capacity to create and manifest divine possibilities. And that is based, it is predicated upon the consciousness that all that is with you physically is not all that you have as an inheritance. That whatever is with you is only a token, an expression of the vast and the limitless possibilities. You need to know this. And Jesus was with men, 5 loaves and 2 fish. He said, no problem. I have food, I have bread, I have all of this. Even if it means sending a fish, where the fish got the coin is none of your business. The most important thing is that it is there and needed when needed. Number 2, the second aspect of dominion, are you ready now, is for correction and restoration. The second aspect of dominion is the ability to correct anomalies and the ability to bring restoration. These are the jurisdictions of dominion. So when you are talking about dominion, it is not a vague terminology. You are talking about the power and the capacity to, number 1, create and manifest. Number 2, correct and restore. Dominion, the ability to correct anomalies. Now, back to my example with money. If you send a child and say, buy me something of 10,000 naira, and say you are a billionaire, genuinely, if that child makes a mistake and buys something wrong, you just correct the person, but it's not a cause for concern. Why? Because there is an endless supply. There is capacity to correct it again. Who seen that this man was born blind, him or his father? Jesus said that's not the issue here. There is power available to correct that anomaly. You are walking in dominion to the degree to which your life becomes a correction. You can use your life and the power of God invested within you. This is truly where compassion stems from. It is not just from love alone, but the ability to go out of your way and correct anomalies. You are a blessing to the degree to which you sustain the power to correct things. This is where the ministry of healing comes from. This is where the ministry of deliverance comes from. This is where the ministry of prophesying breakthrough. You are using the power of God to correct anomalies and to bring restoration. So let's recap very quickly. You need to understand this. The believer, only the believer can be said to be walking in dominion only if these two conditions are in place in his life. Number one, that you sustain the capacity to create and to manifest supernatural possibilities. That means you have mastered the intelligence to transport realities from outside this realm and make them happen in this realm. Why do we call God the great and all-powerful God? Because Jesus was transported from the realm of the spirit and through the womb of a woman, and he showed up here. Hallelujah. Powerful. And then number two, to correct bodily conditions, correct situations. And someone would meet you and say, Apostle, I wasted 10 years of my life, maybe drinking and smoking, living a riotous life. And you say, don't worry, there is the ability of the Spirit to correct that situation. Look how much of a blessing you will be when you can correct situations in people's lives. I've not been able to have a child for 10 years, and you say, don't worry. Why do you run to a doctor? Because he has a semblance of this, even though scientifically I'm not able to take in, and the doctor says, don't worry, there's something we can do. There's still a way around it. He will first examine the extent of the condition. Then with the intelligence he has gotten through study and experience, he now begins to find a way. Medicine has perfected the art of maneuvering the human body. There's heart bypass, there's kidney transplant. All these things are the scientific alternatives we have while we are learning the authentic way to release the power of God. But make no mistakes about it, there is the one who can open without surgery. There is the one who can put parts without having to remove another person's parts. Now it's an uncomfortable message, but open your heart to receive. Except you do not believe in this. Dominion is more than a sermon, it's a call in the spirit. The ability to correct. I have seen a bit of the miracle working power of God as I travel from nation to nation. I have seen God literally, by the privilege of God's grace. I remember one story that will impact my life forever is a whole family that was healed of HIV. Whole, not one person, everybody. How do you give that kind of testimony? It's a different thing that one person was healed, but a whole family, because it was not caused by sickness. I remember many years ago I was preaching for Khan in Shiroro. Shiroro is a place in Niger State, and I saw a very strange occurrence, pastor, that women would give birth and then become deaf and dumb. I don't know if there's a medical explanation, but I sure know there is a demonic activity there. Yes, they would give birth and something would happen to their hearing. I was praying on the crusade ground, and many pastors were smuggling their members who had that kind of condition. When you see a widespread pattern, it's no longer a medical issue. There are spirits that sustain the continuity. But you see, knowing they are there is not enough. Do you have the power to correct? I'm saying this because, help that gentleman please. I'm saying this because there are people who are leaving this place tonight and saying, I found the keys. I came for Activate conference and I was given a key. Mama, don't cry again. I found the key. I've unraveled the puzzle, the 100-year-old puzzle, as to why this family does not seem to rise. Hallelujah. How do you explain that someone is sitting on a wheelchair with legs that probably do not even have any strength, maybe out of joints, or someone holding a crutch, and in a moment the person stands up, supernatural strength, he throws it and he's walking? What happened? Dominion. You have imposed. What manner of man is this, that even the winds and the waves obey him? Mention what did not obey Jesus. Mention one thing. Men obeyed him, demons obeyed him, the wind obeyed him, money obeyed him, systems and structures obeyed him, the material world obeyed him. And he said, as my Father has sent me, so send I you. But the altars in your family have refused to obey you. but finances have refused to obey you. Yes, by faith you can say they are obeying, but listen, I want you to get results. The situation in your family that has created conflict, didn't you pray? Didn't you fast? Why has it not changed? It seemed to veto your spiritual activity as though you are not there. Listen, I want to show you how this thing works. Otherwise you will keep claiming to your pain. You know why a lot of people are leaving God now and church? Because they will first act and pretend for a long time. One day they say, listen, I'm tired of this, I can't wait forever. No, there is a moment where faith should manifest, but the moment is not forever. Hallelujah. Everything obeyed him. Everything obeyed him. The winds obeyed him. The waves obeyed him. Death, the last enemy to be destroyed, obeyed him. Satan obeyed him. Angels obeyed him. Men obeyed him. When we worship him, it's not just a church thing. Who can stand against the Lord? No one can. No one will. Who can stand against our King? No one can. No one will. Help that lady, please. Do you know, this was my experience for a very long time. When I started out with God, I went to church and I sat down. I would see sincere, loving men and women of God preach and say so many things that God could do. And yet people were surrounded with the same situations they were talking about in the Bible, and would sing hymns and share the grace, and you could see disappointments on the faces of people. I said, God, this can't be this way. And when it was time for God to send me, I said, please, Lord, I love you, but do not send me with a sermon alone. No, no, no. I need more than a sermon. Moses was wise. Moses said, I've gotten the sermon, but I know who Pharaoh is. Don't you send me to go and stand before Pharaoh with a sermon. Who shall I tell Pharaoh has sent me? And what will be the proof that I met him?